All right, I'm going to shoot a quick video about the Ford Focus ST, or I'm sorry, Fiesta ST. Stopped by my local dealer, Long Lewis Ford of the Shoals. Shout out to them for letting me take the car home for the night and joyride in a little bit and make sure all of my stuff fits, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Right now it's parked in my garage. My normal daily driver is a Ford F-150, which when it's parked in my garage, the front wheel butts up against that piece of wood there. The bumper of the truck makes contact with that black piece of tubing right there. So I'm literally inches away from the wall. My F-150 goes all the way back to within a few inches of the garage door. In fact, I'm unable to keep a tow ball on it because the garage door won't shut. So if that gives you an idea of the size differential, the Fiesta looks as if it would nearly fit in the back of an F-150. It wouldn't really, but it's an extremely tiny car. By comparison, a small sport utility vehicle like a Nissan Rogue, which my wife drives, looks like a full-size SUV next to it. And that is a very tiny car. In fact, I'm probably going to do some comparison testing between the Rogue and the Fiesta. There is as much room in the driver's area of the Fiesta as there is in the Rogue. The Rogue seats sit a little bit higher, so if you're tall like me, I'm 6'5" and about 265 pounds. That extra bit of thigh support does make a taller seat a little more comfortable, but the Fiesta is not a long-haul vehicle. It's not that you couldn't if you were smaller in stature, but this is right off the dealer lot. I went in to take a look at it. The dealer insisted I take it home. Still has the window sticker on it. The only options on this particular car, if the camera will pick them up, I can get it to focus on it, is the power moonroof and the painted wheels. That's it. Everything else is stock. So you can see it does have the roof. Back seat room, I took a picture of my daughter back here, which I'll put at the end of the video when I shoot some pictures or try to edit them in somehow as soon as I sit down at the computer. The front, I'm not going to drive the car simply because it's really a test drive, and I've already driven it about 25 or 30 miles, and I don't want to take advantage of the good-natured dealership that I'm dealing with, so I'm trying not to put any undue miles on it. There's plenty of driving videos out there on YouTube, plenty of reviews from automobile magazines and such where you can see them flog the car to death. What I'm kind of focusing on is practicality. How will this car perform as a daily driver? How will it fit a larger person such as myself? I'm not fat or overweight. Maybe a little bit overweight if you ask the doctor, but nothing, I'm not morbidly obese or anything. I'm just a big person. That said, this one does not have the Recaro seats. Based on these seats, I would say my backside probably sits there and stretches over near where the seatbelt connects. I fear if this car had the Recaros that my fanny would be sitting on top of the bolsters. I have not sit in a car with Recaros. I've exchanged some emails with some folks. Some say they're very snug to the point of being uncomfortable, and some say they're the best seats they've ever sat in. I've had people say there's no armrest in the Fiesta. There clearly is an armrest in the Fiesta. If you're short and you have to slide the seat up, no, your armrest is going to be in the back seat. It's not adjustable, but for me, I drive with the seat all the way back as far as it'll go, and my elbow rests very nicely on it. Another criticism that I saw about the car is that the armrests in the door, they are nicely padded, they're soft. I don't have any discomfort. In fact, I find them more comfortable than the armrest in my F-150. The top is hard, it's a hard plastic, but it's comfortable to rest your elbow up there, which I do a lot because I'm very long, and you'll see when I get in the car. With the sunroof, if I put a ball cap on, it would hit the roof. So the headroom is a little lacking for my size, but most people aren't as tall as I am. But when I sit in the car, my elbow fits neatly into this little pocket, and it's almost like it was designed. You can see I can fall into the car. It's not a stretch for me to get in and out of. If I shut the door, there's, you probably can't see it on the video, but there's the little pocket. You know, my elbow just kind of drops right in it, and it's a natural reach to the steering wheel. I don't have any problems seeing the gauges. The My Ford touchscreen is very easily reached. I can reach out it and touch it and operate it. The shifter is perfect. In fact, with my elbow resting on the armrest here, my hand falls right to the shifter. So I have no problems there. Handbrake is nice. This little cubby hole here is perfect to put your cell phone. I'm shooting the video with my cell phone, or I'd sit it down there. There's a 12-volt outlet there. The cup holders, right now I just have my sunglasses in there, but you know, there's pockets, but it's got a bunch of dealer stickers and stuff. Like I said, this car has not been sold. It still belongs to the dealer, so it hasn't been cleaned up or prepped for the customer yet. A few things. My wife actually drove the car, loved it. She's not a performance car enthusiast by any stretch of the means. She found it extremely easy to drive, but she said, hey, there's no lights on the mirror, on the vanity mirror. I guess it's a big deal if you're a woman. Maybe some guys think it's a big deal. I don't. You know, this is the microphone for, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a microphone there for the Bluetooth. You know, again, on this side, there's no lights. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm not a fan of sunroofs. I don't know if I can flip the camera to kind of let you guys see. Actually, no, I can't. I'll try to flip the camera around and give you the best view I can. You know, there's not a lot of room. In fact, if I stretch up just a little, my head's hitting the roof. If you're tall like me, try to do without the sunroof. It's not like I hit it normally, like if I'm sitting here normally, but if I hit a big enough bump, without question, my head is gonna hit the roof. The glove compartment has a nice little storage location for the manuals up in here. It's not a huge glove compartment. There are door pockets. The door pockets do have rounded out edges. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but they do have rounded out edges for cups. And this little storage cubby is not very big at all. I don't know if I can get any light down in there or not. Probably not. I need to get a flashlight or something. Sorry, it's dark. But there is an SD card slot for your nav system. The USB ports are in there, and there's just a, in fact, if I make a fist, my fist will not fit into the cubby. And you know, I have fairly large hands, but there's a little bottom area in the cubby that's tiny, but plenty big enough for an iPhone or for an MP3 player. There's enough room to put some things in there, but I wouldn't plan on storing a great deal. I'll bring the key out in a little bit and show you the dash. But practicality wise, if you're a big person, these stock seats do, or, you know, base seats do height adjust. I have mine all the way down as far as it will go, as you can imagine. Getting out, this little lip here for the cup holder, I banged my toe on it. It's probably because I'm not familiar with the car. I just need to get used to getting in and out of it. Got a size 13 shoe. It bangs right there when I go to get out. I don't have the door all the way open either because it would bang up against my wife's car. So not always the fault of the car. Just and it's not crammed in the garage by any stretch of the means. But getting in and out of it is not painful at all. It's not hard to get in and out of, and I'm not an especially flexible or lithe person. So we'll take another look under the hood here and look at the rims and try to see some things externally on the car. But again, you can see those in a lot of videos, really focusing on the practical aspect of the car. And I'll talk a little bit about the driving experience as well. Again, shout out to Long Lewis of the Shoals. You guys are awesome for letting me bring a car home that I told you I'm not in a position to buy right now, but they insisted that I take it home. I didn't tell them I was going to do a video or upload anything to the internet. They're just really good guys, and if you're looking for a new Ford, please give them a call. So now I've got to run a quick errand, so I'm going to take the Fiesta down. The car uses push button start and stop, so Key fob is actually in my pocket, and it allows you to unlock the door without touching the key fob. You just touch a little button on the door. It senses the key fob and opens it up. But the start button is here. You can tell where the original keyhole for a Fiesta would go. I've actually seen some people that say, oh, this is cheap, they just put a plug in or whatever. I think it's great. Why come up with a whole new steering column when you can just plug it with a piece of plastic? Saves money. This is not a premium luxury car. It's a little fun hot hatch, and I don't mind compromises like that to keep the cost down. So anyway, hit the button, car starts right up. My Ford Touch initializes. I do have my phone paired with it. It's not a hard thing to do. I'm familiar with how to pair up the sync from having an F-150. So since this is a manual transmission and I'm holding the phone, you can see the automatic climate control down there. Kind of what the dash looks like. The readout here with the temperature, yes, it's in my garage and it's that cold. For some reason, God decided to make it cold in Alabama. But you can cycle through here and you get different readouts. You know, it's 259 miles till empty, and I've been driving it without regard for fuel economy. It's just over half a tank. I think that's pretty good. I can't imagine this car has much over a 12 or 13 gallon gas tank. I'd have to look it up. That's a long way. When I fill up my 26 gallon tank in my truck, if I get 300 miles out of a tank, I'm thrilled. I get about 14 to 15 miles to the gallon out of my truck. So, and that is driving it with fuel economy in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and I'm going to pick it up later on because, like I said, it's a manual transmission and I can't hold the camera and drive, and I don't have one of those fancy GoPro cameras to stick on the window or anything. I will say that when you're driving this car, there's been a lot of comments, both for and against the sound Simposer. Some people don't like it, some people like it. I really didn't notice it. To me, it just sounded like a little 4-cylinder engine. I didn't think it added or detracted anything. It wasn't annoying to me, but it wasn't anything that I thought was the coolest thing ever. If I want to hear something that sounds like it wants to eat small children, I jump on that thing right there and I run it up to 10,000 RPM and hold on for dear life. This car is not that type of beast. Considering that motorcycle has probably to the rear wheel 125, 130 horsepower, and it weighs 400 pounds. It's a whole different experience when you go sport riding on that versus a little hopped up economy box. So I'll stop the video. I'm going to run an errand and I'll be back from my errand, and I reset the trip computer on my trip when I left, and you see it's falling because I'm sitting idling in the garage. It was actually almost at 30 miles to the gallon when I pulled in the driveway. That was really not any highway driving. It was stoplight to stoplight, sitting in the line at the drugstore where I had to run, and coming back home. Only caught a couple of lights, not a lot of traffic, so there wasn't a lot of stop and go. Probably a good indication of, and I did drive with fuel economy in mind. I shifted between 3,500, 4,000 RPM probably in the first 3 gears, and then really short shifted 4th, 5th, and 6th. I think you could easily see 30 plus miles to the gallon in mixed driving if you drive like a sane adult. This car, though, begs you not to drive like a sane adult. It is insanely fun to drive. While I was on my way to the drugstore, I was in a merging situation where I was trying to beat some cars where a light had changed green and I was turning right, and I laid waste to them. They were in my rear view mirror in a hurry, and the car is not scary fast. It never feels like it's going to get away from you. It feels like it has just the right amount of power for this car. Any more and you'd probably be fighting the torque steer. Any less and you'd probably be wishing you had some more power. Neither of those is the case with this car. It's very, very, very well behaved. I've not mistreated the car because I don't own it, So I haven't been banging shifts and squealing tires, and I've been driving it like a responsible owner of the car would drive. One thing I did notice on the trip is that if you get to my eye level, which is about right here, you'll notice that you can't see the very top of the My Ford touchscreen. You know, there's a time and temperature display. Without me ducking my head down, I really can't see that. That's a nitpick. It's only because I'm freakishly tall. Most people aren't going to have a problem with that. You know, if I squat down even an inch, I can see it perfectly. This little display is kind of neat. You know, that's your average mile per gallon, average miles per hour. You know, the car's got 51 miles. I think it had 18 on it when I took it from the dealer, so I've put a few miles on it. That's a trip computer, distance till empty. Again, I'm still a little over half a tank, 237 miles. To me, that's outstanding. One other thing I did notice about the car, from a practicality big guy standpoint, and you can see the red lights under there, there's a button here on the dash that you can change the colors of those lights. That also lights up in the cup holders, if you can see, and you can change them to different colors, blue, all manner of, you can turn them completely off if it bugs you. I had them set to red because it kind of matches the logos and stuff in the car, but I was playing with that. The heater is really good. The automatic climate control system, even though it looks a little cheesy and not as nice as like one you would find in a Focus or an F-150, it works. It keeps the car comfortable. I haven't adjusted it. I haven't changed the blower setting. I haven't changed the temperature setting, and I'm very comfortable. And I'm usually always hot, and I don't like heat running in a car. It's very cold outside. It's 21 degrees now. The car warms up and seems to work just fine. And I hate sitting here idling a new car. I'm very particular about how I break cars in, so I don't like to leave them running, but I want you to get a good view of the way everything is. But like I was saying, there's this ridge here in the car. Because I have very, very long legs and not a lot of thigh support with the seats, you can, I don't know if you can see, but the seats kind of end right here, and here's the end of my knee. So I have very long legs, 36-inch inseam. So when I'm driving, I'm resting my leg on the side of this console here. And you probably can't see it in the video, but this edge is digging into my leg. It's not a deal breaker because I can actually straighten my leg out a little bit and get the fatty part of my calf on it. But if I just relax it over, it kind of cuts in a little bit. Again, I'm really picking nits. This car is neat. For the money, this vehicle compared to, and this is pretty much the base. The only option has is the wheels and the sunroof. The My Ford Touch, everything comes standard in this car versus the Focus ST. You have to get the Recaro seats to get the My Ford Touch system. You have to get a whole bunch of stuff that you may not want. Base price to base price, there's not a lot of difference between the two. I found a Ford Focus ST about 2.5 hours from here. They want $500 more than this car for the base model Focus ST, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. And I have to say, I don't have the My Ford Touch in my F-150. It's far superior to the standard sync. I do not like the standard sync. The voice control is abysmal. Whatever the difference is in this system, it works much, much better. And I'm on the latest version, latest software. I work in IT, so I'm very techno geeky. So I make sure that I keep everything up to date. And the My Ford Touch system is far, far superior. This unit has the nav in it, at least according to the salesperson. They don't have the SD card in it, but it's supposed to have the nav in it, according to her, even though I don't think it's listed on the option sheet, but we can get out and take a peek. So again, no key, hit the button, car shuts off. I usually park in gear, but just to make myself feel better, I'll park in gear. So let's let me open the door a little wider so it misses I pulled up a little farther forward so I can open the door all the way and maybe not hit my wife's car. Okay, it didn't. Now this little cup holder is kind of out of my way, and I can swing my foot out and I really don't hit it. When the door is closed a little more, when I swing my foot out, for some reason, toe, and I have very big feet, very long legs. I mean, I'm really pulling my feet back to get out. It's not a big issue. You got to remember, I'm 6'5". I have a 36-inch inseam. It's not going to be a problem for most people. I'm just pointing out because there's not a lot of reviews on this car. Shut the garage because it's bone-chillingly cold. But let's take a peek underneath the hood. Apologize for moving around, but I don't have an assistant to help me shoot or anything, so there's really not a lot of interesting stuff. Like I said, you can see the patches on the ground where the wheels from my truck normally sit. Like I said, the front wheel is usually right there against that board, and the front of my car, my truck, hits this hose, and I can't walk behind it. So it's a really good indication of just how, and this is a pretty, not a big garage, but big enough that I've got a workbench over there and, you know, stuff stacked in here. My wife's car, and I was going to go in there and set in that and give you guys a good kind of review of the two. If you've ever sat in a road, you'll understand. Get the hood open. The black on this car, I don't know, it's kind of picking up the dust more than anything. It is a metallic black. It's not a flat black, you know, a basic black car. I really like the black paint. I didn't think I would, but I think if it were clean and waxed, this car would be very, very nice. There's no under hood light, and the prop rod is there, easy to get to. Really, there's nothing really much exciting under here because of the engine cover, which I could pop off, but I'm not going to. The battery is easy to get to. It's nice that it's over the front wheel, more or less, to help kind of balance the weight of it out. The handling of this car is superb. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not a race driver. I don't autocross. I don't do anything like that. But you're coming up on an intersection, and the arrow for the left-hand turn lane turns from green to yellow, and you want to make it, you won't have any problem making it. You can just hammer the car and turn it, and it's going to make it. I told somebody it's very similar to like a cricket. You know, if you've ever seen a cricket that just kind of sits there, and then at the last minute, you know, it's gone. It just moves. It's so quick and cat-like. This car does have the red calipers. I don't know if I can get them because there's not a lot of light in here. It does have the red calipers and the gray wheels. They're an option. I think on the sticker they're $375. They're no bigger or smaller, but it does say on the window sticker that this has, I'm trying to see if it has nav. You may see it already. Trip computer. Yes, Sirius satellite. Sync with my Ford Touch. Doesn't say anything about navigation, unless I'm just missing it. Oh yeah, it does. It's down here. When you look at this stuff through a phone, you miss it. But yeah, it is. Nav is included on this car. $800 option. I could live without the roof, and I could live without the nav. I was quoted a price, and the way Long Lewis does their pricing, it's not a buddy price. They price it. They basically give you a best price. What they give you is what they give you. And they quoted, I've got the sheet in the car. This is what they handed me and said, you can buy the car for this much money. There's no dock fees, nothing. The bottom line on the car was $22,554. There is a title fee. There's no dock fees, no delivery fees. That included tax. So really the price for the car is $21,937. That was financed through Ford Motor Credit because they have a finance incentive of $500 or something like that. But the bottom line with the taxes for my state was $22,554. So that was a deal. And it took me all of 10 minutes for them to write that down on a sheet of paper. They looked in their computer and said, this is what we sell it for. Really a very fair price. In 1990, I bought my first new car ever. I was 18 years old. I bought a 1990 model Volkswagen Corrado, which was a 1.8 liter supercharged. engine. It had 158 horsepower. I paid $16,600 for that car in 1990. This car would eat its lunch with 197 horsepower and 221 foot-pounds of torque. It would absolutely rip it to shreds, and the Corrado was just amazingly fun. I'm going to try to get back behind my wife's car and show you guys kind of of course, I'm sure she's got the seat moved up, and I apologize for the nastiness you'll see in here because my wife doesn't wash her car. Now, moving the seat all the way back in the road, this is a much larger car. I've got better thigh support in this car. The dashboard, the way it's made, it's not sharp edged, it's rounded here, unlike in the Focus. So my leg still has the same problem in this car, but it's a rounded type thing. There's really, when I shut the door, the soft touch here in the Rogue is not as soft as what's in the Focus. Now this is, I want to say we paid 23 or 24 for this car. I really don't recall. Maybe not even that much. But it's pretty Spartan on the inside. It does have a backup camera, which is not available in the Focus. But really, there's not a whole lot more room in this car than in that Focus. And it's a much bigger vehicle. There's more storage space. The best way I could describe the Focus is not so much a four-door car. It is a four-door car, but it's more like a two-seater that has side access to the storage. If you lay the seats down in the car, and you'll see the pictures I took earlier, it really swallows a lot of stuff. My daughter fit back there fine. If you have small children, I'd say, you know, preteens, they're going to fit in there fine. I would not want to take an extended trip in it. Not at my size. If I were 5'8" or 5'10", I don't think I'd have a problem with it. But being as big as I am, there's no room to stretch your legs out. But really, between these two cars, and it's not a comparison, it's just kind of to give you an example, really the Rogue is not much more comfortable, if any, than that car. We take family trips in this car because it is my wife's car, and she doesn't care about it. If my daughter spills something in it, no one cares. If my daughter spilled something in my car, I would have a heart attack. But anyway, we've done some trips in the Rogue. Not a fun car to take a trip in. The seats are very flat and hard, and I don't like them. The seats are a little more comfortable in the Focus. I'm sorry, the Fiesta. I'm sure I probably called it a Focus several times. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end the video, go into my computer, piece it together, add in some pictures and some captions and things like that, and get it uploaded. And I hope you guys enjoy it from a viewpoint of a big person. Great little car, fantastic little car. And if I could get somebody to assume the lease on my F-150, I might buy it. But I don't think I'm going to get anybody to assume the lease. But it's definitely a car that I wouldn't mind owning, especially for a drive back and forth to work kind of thing. Commuter car, good gas mileage, great performance, great handling. Ford's got a winner here. I mean, if you're going to send a kid to college, it would even be a good option, although I don't know that I'd want to give that kind of power to a college kid, because even though it doesn't sound like a lot, when the turbo spools up and you put your foot in it, this car will go. It doesn't scare you. It's not like hammering a 5-liter in a Mustang or something like that. But this car will flat scoot. It's entertaining, and it doesn't have a lack of power. And I think even the most hardcore adrenaline junkie, and believe me, I ride that thing. I'm a hardcore adrenaline junkie. That motorcycle will do 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds. And this thing was thrilling to drive. It's really that much fun. And I know you'll see a lot of professional guys talking about how much fun it is. I don't own this car. I'm probably not going to buy this car. But I'm just telling you guys, it's a fun car. If you're looking for a small hot hatch, check this one out. I've driven the GTI. The GTI is a very nice car. It's probably a little more Teutonic, to use a German word. If that is a German word, I have absolutely no idea, but I just heard that German cars described that way, and basically what that means is it's very proper. Excuse me, clear my throat. The GTI I had a Jetta, I've driven GTIs, I've had a Corrado. They're really well behaved, good handling, good driving cars. There's not a lot of bad boy in them. Not like the 80s model GTIs that, the old 16 valve GTIs from the 80s kind of had that rowdy character to them, but they've taken all that out of the newer GTIs. This car reminds me of an 80s model VW Corrado, GTI 16 valve, Scirocco 16 valve, Honda Prelude, a lot of those classical 80s hatchbacks, only this car is way faster and handles better than any of those cars and probably gets better fuel mileage all on top of it. So definitely consider it, and that's all I have. Thank you for watching, and go test drive a Fiesta ST.